Alright, so welcome once again to this stream that's pretty, whoa, that is so pretty. Pretty, unknown by the world, but I hope to change that in a short amount of time. It would be greatly beneficial to me if, I could make this something that's a bit more streamlined in my life. I do make music a whole lot, and so having an outlet to put it out into the world would be very beneficial for me. And as you might know from reading the description, uh, I definitely am looking to turn this once once just passion of mine, which it still is, of course, into a full-fledged job. And that is a giant step that I wouldn't have ever taken in the past, but definitely made changes in my life that are, I think the biggest thing here is shout outs to H3H3. They've revolutionized my entire experience. Everything that I could have ever wanted sort of came to be thanks to them. But all that aside, that was all for anyone who's watching right now, which if you are, that means that you're not watching live, and cool, that's not a problem at all. Although I do get this random single person who does occasionally pop in. I don't know what that's all about, but nonetheless, I digress. This is Labs. It's by Spitfire Audio, and it's a free plugin, and it's by far the best free piano plugin that I would argue exists, because it does this great thing where you don't even need to automate anything or mess with velocities. It does all of that for you. And check this out. See how fluid that motion was, how realistic it sounded. Now, of course, I just sort of threw notes onto the piano roll here. I'm gonna just really quickly pull out my signature chord progression, which, if you are a fan of mine, and I greatly appreciate that support, it's huge. It's absolutely changed my life. Yeah, I'm gonna just throw in that progression that I very commonly I guess put into my music. I hope I'm doing it right. I'm a piano player, not necessarily one who is used to seeing notes strewn about in the way that they are here, but I think we'll get there in the end. I'm sure you would have heard this if you have heard my music, just because it's sort of a very common one, common progression within my stuff. I think this is how it goes, but we'll see. And once I have the chords put down here, I'm gonna try to just throw a random melody over top of that and just try to display how versatile Labs is. So this is that progression. Do 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 do. Oh yeah. I haven't actually heard this progression in a very long time, but it's definitely bringing back some almost nostalgic feelings. I can't wait to see where this goes. Yeah, the biggest kind of issue here is the fact that I am using my right hand to hold the mic. So, this isn't quite the most efficient experience here, but we'll make it work. Once again, I'm just sort of throwing notes around. I'm not really paying too much mind to the creative process or how my creation might sound. And you know, I haven't actually balanced any of the sound, which could have been a bad idea. Um, I really hope that I'm just gonna check these. Okay, so I'm about on par with the piano. I might turn that down just a touch. I don't want it to well, I don't want to be too loud either, but my music does get quite loud quite quick. So okay, so far we've got, oh, this is hard. Eh. Okay, so I want to definitely put in a G somewhere there. Mm -mm 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 -mm. So once I've got this sort of melody down, I'll see. Oh, that's cool. Defaults to slide when you grab and hold. Can you change it back? Oh, that is. Oh, it doesn't work. That would be sick. Okay, so this is definitely gonna be like a. In case you were wondering why I'm kind of not quite as technically advanced, I'm used to FL11, as most musicians who I've worked with would be aware, and chances are that if you are watching this, you are one of them, so I do appreciate that once again. But let's see where this goes. So as you might have been able to tell, we're simply playing in the key of D. It's my very much comfort pick when it comes to keys. You know, when I first picked up, ooh, I didn't mean for that sound the way it did, but I go with it. It was, you know, I didn't want to be that person who plays in C. And so I decided to just go 2 semitones up, because D is a very easy key to learn, having just 2 sharp. Oh, hold on, quite pretty, because we just resolved. I love resolve. People hate it. It's all about sticking your nose elsewhere, but I like resolving just to lose the resolve right at the end of a measure. Like here we've got four bars and got the resolve on that 4, and it's gonna now, I don't know, move down or something. We'll figure it out. But once again, I just want to reiterate how amazing Labs is. You cannot get a sound this natural and fluid in any standard form of a virtual instrument. Even the top Contact library, this is it sort of automates its own. In my opinion, what it's doing is it's do 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 do. Okay. In my opinion, what it's doing is what it seems to be doing is attempting to emulate or simulate what a natural pianist might, you know, the pressures of their fingers on either of these chords, and maybe it's like, you know, these are the bass notes, so that's where the thumb goes in many situations, and maybe it even knows that it's like, hey, transitional notes or movement like this. Like if we were to play, there's some very, very subtle difference in the dynamics in these 4 notes. It's not like they're all just, you know, just to compare it, actually, I'm gonna grab the piano, just the default fruity one, and I know that there are a lot better out there, and this is not even remotely the best option as far as VSTs that aren't labs are concerned, but I do want to share that a virtual piano that is synth based, like the one that's right here in FL Keys, which sounds, as you can tell, very almost fancy. But right here, notice that it's almost always, or it is always the same texture. And you know, ironically, I'm totally layering this on top of the labs. Just because it adds a ton of texture on top of that beautiful stuff that labs comes with, and for that reason I'm just gonna not have other just to make this sort of an easier process to draw. I wouldn't normally do it that way, but because I don't generally like layers, I like being able to change the two segments on their own. But here we go. Let's see what we can do. That was very bizarre. It almost sounded like the labs. Well, it's definitely being overshadowed, so much high end in this that I'm gonna keep, but sort of getting overshadowed in the mid-range by the labs, at least in my head. So kind of only want it for that high-end flavor. I also kind of want to turn it pretty far down here. It's there, but very much in the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this definitely needs more chord structure here. I'm thinking see how it sort of plucked that note? It's gonna do it again. Do 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 do. Hmm. You know, that's clean, but I definitely like variation in my notes and chords here, just because, you know, you can get a chord progression and you can create a beautiful piece. Don't get me wrong, but oh, sounds like the evil tritone, whatever it's called. I don't know its name. Ooh. Do try that. Whoa, what did I do there? No, there we go. Might scrap this high-end one. See, that's exactly what I mean. You know, you could have your own progression that's very, you know, complex or sounds nice, because that's kind of what it's all about. But I do like having these little sort of textural changes in a melody that would previously have been just sort of a single note on top of the fourth note in the chord, which is always a 7 in these cases. It's generally, you know, understood by the listener from the beginning that we're sort of creating a single note melody, but then, you know, I've added a lot more context for the listener right in these final two, and I'm looking to either continue that throughout. Well, we'll see. My creative process sort of does, it's got a mind of its own, but so far, one thing that I'm really not too fond of is the way the FL key stereo Okay, this isn't terrible. Can you? Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm gonna pull back in some of that mid-range. Whoops. And actually drop some of that. I just kind of want the harmonics now. Um, if you were curious, the reason why I sort of changed my mind there was I didn't really like how the two sounds layer. You know, it's a lot more subtle. Um, if you were to compare, it definitely adds a nice high-end sort of tinny sound, but without overtaking the almost mellow feeling that I get from the labs on its own, and so that's kind of the purpose of that. This is definitely going back up. We have, and oops, I wish I had two hands, but it would make this easier because I could do the. Yeah, that's totally right. This, but anyway, do. Okay, so now in the upper register of my the F, I always like emphasizing these sort of off notes wherever I can. But yeah, I'm gonna keep the chordal structure now in the in the upper range, and then move my melodies within the chords so that they can almost feel more what's the word flourish comes to mind. It's more about like filling out the chord and nice thick chord stack. Of course. Hmm. I accidentally started counting in threes, I guess, in my mind there, but you just hear it from the beginning for some context. Um. Okay. So my creative process is simply I hear a do 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 do. I hear a melody in my head and I simply put it onto the drawing that I have in front of me. I always there we go. That'll be a nice little walk there. I really like kind of emphasizing. Actually, what is this chord? Um, okay, I know what it is, but I want to hear it. Um, yeah, that might be applicable actually. And this definitely goes down as well. Okay, let's hope that that's not too saturated, and it's not. Okay. Um, this is shaping up to be. Wow, there's a lot of options that just went through my head. I don't even know what I want to do here. It's shaping up to be quite the, you know, almost classical sounding, and I don't want to. Whoops. I don't want to. Um, do do. Sorry, this is I have this ongoing problem with actual people. Whenever I'm making music, I just sort of get really quiet. Uh, and that's kind of a nuisance for them, but do do do. Mm. So I have a lot of moving parts kind of in this little piano bit here, talking about all of that nonsense that's essentially just drawn in. To anyone who's new to production, this is not a hard process. You don't need theory. You know, it helps, but it's not remotely necessary. Just because you'll learn on your own. Sort of what sounds good and what okay. Yeah, you know, everyone has their own sort of understanding of music and of what they want to create with music. So, you know, maybe my music currently is quite saturated in the sort of melodic elements aspect of the picture here, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily make good music or bad music, and the same can be said about the same can be said about any person's music. It's just sort of how the creative process works, and so, you know, I hear a lot of different styles and types of music from all over the place, and I hear a lot of artists getting themselves down based on their own you know, preconceived notions of themselves, and it's clear that they have their own sort of defined musicality, just as, you know, any artist or creator might. I might want to put this actually here. Yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be quite the saturated piece, which is not uncommon for me, but if you've heard my music, which I'd assume you have, that's kind of my claim to fame. Wow, those brushing notes are gonna sound really intriguing. Ouch, my ear just popped. Okay, so this is now out. Okay, I can work with that. So I just sort of spent apparently 24 minutes. No, that didn't feel like 24 minutes, but this is sort of what came out of that. It's not a complex idea or anything that's sort of rhythmically interesting or anything of that nature. It's simply essentially a bunch of notes sort of splattered onto the piano roll in a manner that's satisfies my own personal ear, and as you can see, I'm still spitting notes onto the onto the piano roll. Just because I'm kind of meticulous when it comes to this stuff, especially since this is supposed to show how advanced labs is. It's absolutely, life altering in my opinion. I would not be creating the art that I do now. Whoa, you start volume down now? Wow, that's cool. Put down, thank you. But yeah, Labs is a game changer in the music world. How do you turn on ghost notes? Is it Alt G? Let's check Google. Ghost notes hotkey FL. It is Alt V. That didn't do anything. Alt V? Have they? Don't tell me they got rid of ghost notes. Why would they get rid of ghost notes? It's a genuinely useful feature. That is quite bizarre. See if it's gonna poke around for a sec while this plays in the background. Yeah, I don't think that it would be anywhere in any of this. Background. Ooh, that's cool. I should make that my SoundCloud. That would be pretty neat. Okay, how would you, what is browser to? I totally want to try that. Okay. So, oh, what did that do? Do I have a functioning, oh, we got a website. Okay, soundcloud.com. Wow, that is... Can you play music with it? Oh, it says browser not supported. Also, it's covered by everything, but I've seen this before. That's too bad. What other... maybe YouTube? Although if... Wait, how do I... Whoa! What did I do? Oh, I turned it up. Wait, no I didn't. What happened? Why did FL keys just get louder? Oh man. Oh, I see why. That was so cool. It just had a random like tape effect put on it. Like a pitch down. Ooh. That is crazy. Okay. So we've had this on repeat for a good, a solid million years. We're gonna actually get to the next part of this, which is gonna be a nice crisp sounding bass. I do like those. Every creative process happens differently, so don't kind of hold yourself to one idea. Sometimes I do the rhythm first, etc., etc. Okay, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what I'm looking to accomplish with this bass line here. Yeah, that can work. I'll do one of these. Didn't work that time. Yay, it worked that time though. No it didn't. Okay. The normal way. Sharp, go to the app, and then all the way up, and then back down to the. That's my progression. That's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward baseline. I'm sure you can kind of understand what I'm doing here. And if not, feel free to ask at any point. Person, single viewer who doesn't comment, so I'm almost certain you don't actually exist, but alas, that is not what YouTube says. Isn't this the part where it goes? Okay, no. I'm just gonna lay out my baseline here so that I don't have to worry used by things as I was just now. There we go. Now everything's nice and easy to understand. Okay. Okay. Again, my creative process sort of just does its own thing. Okay, so we've got sort of a bare bonesy baseline going on here. I don't quite know what started on the IE here. Just to give people of all varieties a touch of the bases here. Extract 3. This is where the vital drums come into the picture. Right now I'm getting a little too much high end off of that bass though, so I'm just gonna, well, firstly I'm gonna create myself a quick template. But just to make it a little easier for me to create what I'm after. Wow, the EQ looks very different now. I can't keep up with that. I'm used to it like getting quite saturated, but that's not the case anymore. Okay, so now you're gonna kind of get a taste for how drums can absolutely turn an entire track around. We have sort of a mellow sounding song right now, as you can probably guess, and I'm actually gonna show you a couple of things here just for the sake of getting this stuff out of my system. I'm gonna just grab a random hip-hop sample here. This is so hard to do with one hand. Okay, so this is gonna be sort of a little breakbeat portion that I'm gonna first route to this track here. Turn down. I don't mind the bass, although it can be a little quieter, and so can that high end, because it is a little abrasive. And you know what? Oh wow, that's easy. That's a lot easier to work with. Okay, and one more thing. I do like putting a love filter on here with... Oh! What is this preset? This is a stereoizer, no? It's sort of low past it. I really like how it sounds. I'm just gonna solo this out for a sec. Okay, so these absolutely do not do anything. I'm gonna just grab the phaser though. That's what I was there for. Okay, that sounds very snappy. I did not expect that to sound as cool as it does. Okay, I'm gonna grab myself some drums from this Swum drum kit. I got it for free. I don't know if it's supposed to be free, but these packs are just passed around in the production community, so guess you just gotta roll with it, you know? Ooh, this is on the top now. Very fancy. One of these, both of them, of course. But we do want to kind of cut out some of that. That'll work. Whoa. Sounds the same. I'll go with it. That's fine. Oh, there's a tail on that actually. I don't like reverb on kicks. They're just really... I try to have snappy, almost punchy kicks, but when I say punchy, I really just mean I don't like the tails that a lot of kicks come with. They're kind of muddy. Oh, that is crisp. Okay, so we've got snare there. So it's just actually a nice, easy... Then I guess I'll just start creating my own rhythms here. With a little bit of swing, I don't see why not. Doom, doom, doom. Mm. Mm. Okay, well, why don't we throw these in here for easy success? I don't like having sort of repetitive drum patterns, so that. Ooh, that's punchy. Okay. Now we'll put them in the mixer track. That one. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Wait. It's so hard when everything's so tiny now. Oh. How do you turn on constant playthrough? I think it's up here now. And it isn't. It's definitely something that they wouldn't have gotten rid of, but I have no clue how I would turn that on. What does this do? Cool. Neat. Oh, there's a little plus button. Convenient. Make a loop. Gotta be able to do that. Would never get rid of it. Okay, well, check Google. Loop channel rack. There's no way that's not. They really got rid of it? Why would they get rid of that? What? Seconds. That's so dumb. Why? Why would they do that? I'm actually so annoyed. That's crazy. Step sequencer and piano roll were merged. Okay. Sure. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna let them win and make my new pattern and that because it's totally an extra step that I normally wouldn't have taken. But I guess it's a little cleaner now. Alright. Let's get to that mixing. So currently everything is quite loud. If you're trying to master, it would be a fruitless endeavor with a song with channels that are too loud, and I'm not saying necessarily that these are that, but it would be a much easier process if your channels were a little quieter before you head to the mastering process. But I'm actually going to show you that in just a sec, and of course that's not a thing yet. Just fix this. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to create a simple preset for side chaining, as I have just done. To make the sidechain process always a lot easier, I would highly recommend it, and all of the opportunities you get. It's so nice to also, you know, these are really pretty, but they don't tell me much about the loudness of what I'm creating. As much as I love how they look because they are beautiful, I'm going to have to that's easier. Names at top. That just okay. I don't like how that looks. Compact plugin list. That's not gonna change anything. Track inspector on the left side is just complicated to me. I'm not used to that. So I guess that's that. Alrighty. So now that I have kind of a taste for how loud everything is, surprisingly it's not terrible. I would potentially compress a kick or something. Double check that this side chaining isn't intrusive, and it's not. I definitely want a little bit more low end on one of these kicks. Not that one though. That one's got not enough of a tail for what I'm after. Okay. Okay, we definitely need to have a couple more snare samples. This time, instead of claps, we'll layer some snare frequencies on there. Oh, that sounds nice. Always remember to pan. Very, very important. I might even put a little bit of panning on the kicks. This isn't generally recommended, for a whole lot of reasons, but I like variety in my music, and that's a great way to find that. I'm also throwing a stereoizer on this because, as we said, variety is a beautiful thing. Anything else we can mess with here before we get to the master process? Yeah. I definitely want to put some reverb. Where is the reverb? Reverb. I like how it's sorted. That's nice. Okay, so now, despite how kind of buried in the mix that snare is, it shines through. Oh. Oh, there we go. This is gonna be great. I'm excited to hear this. I also definitely am gonna need some sort of high-end filler, generally in the form of hats, which we will get to in due time. But for now, we're gonna turn that way down. Have these guys kind of filling some amount of space, but not too much. And lastly, I don't want this one on the left and this one on the right. There we go. Now we have some dynamic directionality to our music, and we're gonna get to the most, arguably the most crucial part. I'd say that it's not very integral, especially since, ooh, now it finally defaults to this. Since, you know, lo-fi is such a popular genre, you can see that there's clearly a public interest in music that's not necessarily the highest of production quality, and you know, that's cool, but I like trying to almost crush my sounds and get as much volume out of the sort of droppy part as I can muster. Now I am gonna double check that the mixing here is alright, and I'm gonna actually turn down the desktop audio. I can't actually tell if I'm too loud or too quiet. I'm just going to assume that the volumes are alright. So as you can see, I'm a lazy person when it comes to my master. I just kind of have the same default shape with a little bit of saturation, just for the seal. I find that gets me the nicest crunchy sound. So now with that complete, we're definitely going to want to move on to some secondary instruments on this one. And I'm thinking that we spend some time showing the world just how powerful Nexus is, because this is a plugin that is widely what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Producers don't like it, is what I was trying to say in some manner, but I have no clue how to say that, so I'm just gonna grab me a Nexus and show you what you can do with it, because there's, you know, this is an extremely versatile piece of equipment here. How do I... Wow, this is all new to me, everything that I'm experiencing here. Like, what is this thingy? Can I make it go away? I mean, I guess it's pretty different though. Okay, I definitely want to put in one of these guys, just cause I like how it sounds generally. It's kind of one of the weirder ones, and you'll definitely agree with me on that. Let's check it out.
Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I think that this is gonna be the wrap up. This one. Been really intriguing. This is sort of a new experience for both yourself and myself. I guarantee that much. But I look forward to trying this, perfecting this as a medium for the publication of my work and sort of the process that's involved, because it's definitely quite the time consuming experience, and so I'm glad to be able to share that with you and bring it to the public's eye, I guess, in some manner. But I guess I'm gonna do a large number of these that are gonna be largely the same content, in that the showcase of labs, I really want to get that out there. I want to have more people see and realize the power of this plugin. It was so graciously brought to my attention by Echo Robot, who is also an H3H3 artist, if you will. He's the one who did their, well, not the only one, that was done with a couple others. Let's figure that out. Echo Robot 3H3. Yeah, Custodian, that's right. And Nelward. I don't know where those two are. They're not even in chat where you can find everybody. But yeah, they made a beautiful, beautiful alternate H3H3 podcast theme. Or not podcast theme, like the theme song to H3H3's YouTube channel. Great moves, keep it up, that one. And
wow, Ethan, great moves.
Weirdly, that looks like, so the version that is commonly known is actually just the version by Echo. I am learning that now, but I guess they're both different songs, completely different songs. But yeah, this guy's done great things in the world, and so brought that to my attention, and now I want to bring it to all of yours. Anyway, I'm gonna go to sleep. It is currently 7 a.m. Good job, me. I did it. I don't know how much sleep I'm getting tonight, but this was a very enjoyable experience. I hope to see you guys at some point in the future, and we can see where this goes. It'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much. Have a nice life.